It's homecoming season and a lot of you have been asking me about my diamondback chain. So today we'll be discussing sizes. I'll show you how to make them and give you tips along the way. I'm Rose Oatley. Let's get started. First, let's talk ribbons. I find that the best ribbons to use for chains would be the acetate, satin luster, and polyester. Sometimes I like to mix them up with more decorative ribbons like these. You can choose any decorative ribbon as long as it's not too flimsy. Otherwise, it won't keep its form. For my first chain, I'm using 7/8 inches wide, and this is a satin luster ribbon. For a 7/8 inch width, you want to cut your strips 7.5 inches long. It's important that you get all your strips the same length, so with a pen, you can mark it right at 7.5 inches, then cut your strip. Then you can use that one strip to cut your other strips the same length. I'm going to use two colors for this chain. This color is pewter, which is a gray, and then a white. I cut 6 strips of each for the purpose of this tutorial, but you can cut more depending on how long you want your chain. This is the dull side. The outside will be the shiny side. We're just going to fold this in half. Rub one end to create a crease. The crease will be your center and your guide. You want to fold each end so it sits flush in the crease. Fold them over, and to get a better grip, just insert your 2 fingers inside the loops, grab them, and then push down so they're flush on the crease. Then I just tap them so they're both even on each side. Then just run your fingers through to kind of flatten them out a little bit. You'll end up with a shape that looks like a heart. You're going to fold your strips all the same way. We'll do one more and then we'll continue. Fold your strip in half, pinch it at the bottom to create the crease. Take both ends, push them against the crease. Pinch the bottom, make sure each side is even, and then run your fingers all the way through. Now that I'm done folding each strip, we're going to start assembling our chain. Grab one of each color. By the way, you can also make them all one solid color if you like. As you can see, our heart has 2 loops. We're going to take the white 2 loops and feed them right through the gray ones. Now when you're doing this, pinch the bottom of your gray ones so that your ribbon doesn't fall apart. Then you just want to feed your white ribbon all the way through. Put a staple on the end right in the center to hold everything together. Here we've got gray, white, so next we'll have to use a gray ribbon, and we're going to feed our ribbon right through the white one going the opposite direction. We'll feed a white one, and you'll notice the chain going in a zigzag direction. You'll notice the gray ribbon went towards the left side. Now we're going to push the white one towards the right side to create that zigzag direction. This is taking shape. You'll see one side white and one side gray. Now you want to feed a gray one going left. And by the way, you don't need staples on the rest. You just need a staple right at the top, and then when we end the chain to kind of hold everything together. Now you want to feed a white one, and so on. Once you're done feeding all your loops, you want to make sure you put a staple right at the end so your chain doesn't fall apart. Again, I cut 6 strips of each color, and I'm going to go ahead and measure it just to kind of give you an idea what 6 strips of each color will give you. This is measuring right at 9 inches. Again, you can make it longer. I just made it short for the purpose of the tutorial. To help you out, I'll take it a step further. Each diamond measures about 1.5 inches long. I'll give you some ideas for decorating later, but for now, let's move on to our next size. Next, 1 inch wide ribbon, which I don't have in stock, but the 7/8 inch ribbon is the closest one to this one. So if I had to guess, I would cut my strands anywhere between 7.5 inches to 8 inches long. This next ribbon is 1 5/16 inches wide. This is a pumpkin orange color, and we're going to be using white as well. We're going to cut these strips 11 1/4 inches long. I know that 1 5/16 of an inch is kind of an odd number, but that's how they sell them, or at least that's how they sell them at my location. Now you're probably saying, I don't know what that looks like. For those who aren't very good with rulers, I'm going to try and help you out here. I'm going to go ahead and put the strip against the ruler and kind of give you a better idea. Hopefully this will help. All right, so let me show you real quick. Here we've got our 1 inch. This here is a 1.25 inches where my fingernail is at. So if you notice, there's just a little bit more ribbon left. So it's just a little bit bigger than 1.25 inches. All right, let's move on and start folding our loops. Again, we'll fold one in half. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the other ones. Fold them in, push down to the crease. Now, if your ribbon isn't cut straight at the bottom, make sure that you cut it straight because you do need that to sit flush on the crease. Flatten them out and done. All right, my strips are done. Let's go ahead and feed the white ribbon right through the orange one. Pull tight so it's snug, then put a staple on the end. We did orange, white, so now we go back in with orange. Then white, and so on. This chain is done. Let's measure how long it is. This one measures 13 inches long, and my diamond is coming in at 2 inches long. This ribbon is 1 7/16 of an inch wide. For 1 7/16 inches wide, we're going to cut 11.5-inch strips. Fold each strip the same as the others, then start assembling your chain. Since I only had white in this size, I ended up cutting 12 strips. If you were doing 2 colors, then you would do 6 of each. This chain measures 14 inches long, and the diamond is 2 inches long. Next size is 1.5 inches wide, which I don't have in stock, but the one that we just did is the closest one to that size. So if I had to estimate, I would cut my strips 11.75 inches long. This next size is 2 inches wide. I'm going to be using a navy color. We'll be doing navy and white. Now this width takes quite a bit of ribbon, but I'm still doing it for size reference and because I know a lot of you like to make big mums, so you might want to make a big chain like this. For a 2-inch white ribbon, you want to cut your strips 16.5 inches long, which is pretty snug, or you can also cut them at 16.75 inches. Once all your strips are cut, you want to fold them just like we did the others and then start building your chain. Now I'm kind of noticing with these are pretty snug. So if you want them to slide a little bit easier, then you want to cut your strands 16.75 inches long. 16.5 inches still works. It's just a little tighter. By the way, if you have that school spirit, be sure and give your school a shout out in the comments below. Go Mavs! Whoop whoop! Actually, my daughter graduated, so she's not in school anymore. Once your chain is done, don't forget to staple the end. With this chain, I cut 6 strips of each color, and let's measure it. It is giving me 20 inches long. Each diamond 3 inches long. All right, now let's go ahead and add a little decor to our chains here. Now here I'm using a strand. They're like little flowers with rhinestones in the center. Usually they come like in a long chain and you just kind of cut them to size. I bought these at Travis Wholesale in San Antonio, Texas. They're actually a wholesale florist, but they sell a bunch of mom supplies and other crafts. If you're not in the San Antonio area, just do a search online for homecoming mom supplies and you should get a whole bunch of stores pop up. I'll also go ahead and post a few links below in the description section and maybe even some links to Amazon for some of the supplies that you may need. As you can see, I just used hot glue for this. And look how pretty it made it look just by adding that extra accent piece on there. All right, let's move on to our next one. For this one, instead of using the whole strand, I cut each rhinestone individually and I'm gonna glue them on each diamond. I think this looks really cute. What do you think? Now you can use so many different embellishments. You can also go to Michael's, Hobby Lobby, if you have one in your area, or any craft store. Make sure to also check out the scrapbooking section. They usually have a lot of little neat embellishments there. All right, so now for this one, I have this long strand of rhinestones that that you can kind of cut to size, to whatever size you want. And I'm just going to kind of glue these also on here. Now tell me, what's the most moms you've had to make for your kids' school? Now I know when my daughter was in cheer, I had to not only make one for my daughter, but then we also had to make for the cheer sis. And I made extra ones because I did sell some as well. Now, do you sell yours? Let me know in the comments below. Now, as a parent, did you wear a mum too? I know as parents, we wore these small mums. I used to make some small ones and also sell those. By the way, I do have other tutorials for moms on my channel, so be sure and check it out. And here you go. What do you think? If you have any questions, leave those below. Don't forget to check out my other mom tutorials as well as my cooking recipe videos. And I also have a community section where you'll get to know me on a more personal level. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, share with your friends, and comment below. Thanks for your support. If you haven't already subscribed, please be sure to do so below or hit my little picture on the side. Also, don't forget to hit the little bell to get notified of all of my new videos. And please be sure to check out these links on the side. Share with your friends. Thanks for watching and your support.